Hi there. Let me just put that down. How are you all? Well, we're getting very close to Christmas now, aren't we? Time to really be serious about counting down to that wonderful time of Christmas. Christ is born, the miracle of God coming down into our existence. Kind of like, probably the best kind of news that there is, because what has happened is because of that news, we know that what Christ has done for us is not only connect to where we are, but that connection has helped us or allowed us, made it possible for us to be connected with Him eternally so that we may be where He is. And that is actually the best news of all. So Christmas is really just the beginning of that story because Christ has come down to us. Last a couple of times we were talking about some of the traditions that we have, like, I was talking about St. Nicholas and what we've done with St. Nicholas, as a pastor who helped out with orphans and widows and looked after them in wonderful little ways, which we still have a tradition today as Santa. However, it got hijacked like so many other things and made into a bit of retail stuff that, the fat jolly man there in the red suit doesn't have anything to do with Santa, but hey, that's what is done. The same thing, however, is actually about the Christmas tree. Did you know that the first account, so it says, I'm not quite sure, but it's there to be found, is that the first Christmas tree inside a church building, and a home, I guess, was actually Martin Luther, who brought the Christmas tree in, or what we today know as a Christmas tree, and decorated with all sorts of fancy things. But he actually only had three things on it. One, he had red apples. The thing is that in the Northern Hemisphere, everything was stark, grey, snowy. The only thing that was actually green were the pine trees. And so he cut one down as a symbol of the evergreen. The greenness, even no matter what season we're in, is God's faithfulness. He's always there. He's always, giving us life in the midst of whatever else is going on. So that was that tree, and it always has that wonderful triangle kind of a shape. So you have that bit of the Trinity, Father, Son, Holy Spirit shape there in the tree. But what he did is he went down to the cellar, as any one of those German places would have had. In the cellar, you kept the apples over winter so that you can, keep snacking on them, and they were a nice cold place. And he would hang the red apples on the limbs of the tree. Now, that was a symbol of our fall into sin. We often talk about the apple on the tree, Adam and Eve, and picking, who knows whether it was an apple, but he took that as a symbol. And today, we kind of put these round balls still on there, These days we have them all sorts of colours. They could be blue or silver, gold, but in those days it was a red apple. Then he also put candles on there as a sign that Christ is the light of the world. And so the light shines in the darkness. It's Christmas Eve. It's getting close to winter solstice. It's the longest day of nighttime in the Northern Hemisphere. Everything is dark. Only a short little bit of sunlight, and then it goes back down into darkness. So the Christmas tree kind of lit up the dark room with these candles, reminding us, one, Christ is the light of the world. He's dealt with the sin that came into our life. The Father, Son, and Holy Spirit is a life that is there all the way through. And then on the top, and I've got this little Christmas tree here too, and on the top he put a star. We still do that today, the star. Star of Bethlehem, as it's often called about. And did you know that there are many speculations as to what was that star that was on there? Some say it was a meteor, because we have these little nativity sets with a meteor and all that sort of kind of stuff. But Johannes Kepler in 1600 something, he actually, Johannes Kepler is the guy who actually done everything about astronomy in terms of looking at the stars and planets and calculating and all sorts of stuff, right? So he's a famous one of those kind of scientists that looked into the cosmos of things. But he calculated that, in actual fact, the Star of David, or sorry, not the Star of David, the Star of Bethlehem, was actually a conjunction of two planets coming together. And it was Saturn and Jupiter coming together and forming a single star. Now, that's what the Magi, apparently from the east, were watching the sky and seeing into constellation this union of these two planets. And it stopped over, if you like, they pursued it all the way to Jerusalem and then inquired, where is the Messiah to be born? Because it was a sign of the Messiah. So he calculated back and actually found that this conjunction was around the time of Christ's birth. Did you know that that's actually happening this year? On the 21st of December, Jupiter and Saturn are converging in the night sky to become one star. Now, Jupiter and Saturn, they follow each other around all the time, and so they always seem to come near, and it's like no big deal. But this time around, and I don't think it's according to some of the things that I've looked at, it hasn't happened for another 800 years since. But it is if it's like this, the Christmas tree star, it is that conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn coming together. So here's something that I did and researched a little bit for you. In the Hebrew, what these two stars mean. In the Hebrew, get this, Saturn is called Shabbatai, and that means to enter into a rest or to move slowly. And Jupiter is called in Hebrew Zedek, from which we get Melchizedek, the prince of the priesthood or the king priesthood of Melchizedek. And that means justice. And the interesting thing is that what you have with these two is a meeting of the king of justice, the priesthood of Melchizedek coming together. So Zedek coming together with Shabbatai, or to enter into my rest. And I thought it was so wonderful, because the thing is that what it's really saying is that in the night sky, God is just giving us a little message that's saying, the king is coming, come and enter into my rest. What will come of it? Who knows? But I just thought it was a lovely little thing that as we come into Christmas this time, and you put the Christmas tree and the little star on top, you probably have now a little bit more of the symbols of what we're doing. So it's not just a kitschy thing, it actually has meaning. The apples about sin, the light, Christ has come, the star that showed the Gentiles all the way to find the Messiah. So today, I also want to bless you. Find the Messiah. Know that he has done away with your sin. He is the light of the world. And he is that ever presence with us, that in this Christmas time, let his light shine upon you. Bless you with it. And who knows, on the 21st of December, you might want to have a look up there and see this incredible thing about Jupiter and Saturn coming together. And it's been called by Kepler the Bethlehem Star. Bye.